You want me to put that on my todger?
This One's Wife. Ignoring women again. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This One's Wife operates a facade. There are different strands to this facade, and one of those strands is the suggestion that she very much cares about women, especially young women. She holds herself out as a firm advocate in female empowerment, and she has demonstrated the concept of female empowerment by advancing herself as a consequence of the assistance of men. That she ensured that her father enabled her to get particular roles on film and television, and that he paid for her tuition. So much for being an independent feminist in that regard. She thereafter relied upon Trevor Engelson's help, because he was an individual that had contacts in the film and television world. She leveraged off the contacts of Corey the chef in Toronto, and of course, the only reason that we all know about This One's Wife is as a consequence of the fact that she is This One's Wife. She married Prince Harry. Thus, once again, demonstrating the hypocrisy of the narcissist, whereby she talks about female empowerment and never does anything about it, and indeed behaves to the contrary by ensuring that she's only got to where she's got to in life by relying upon men. You don't see her actually engaging in providing a proper platform to help other women. Indeed, she doesn't like other women because she sees them as competition. You often see her where she's talking to individuals that if she's talking to a female, that once the person has turned away, this one's wife's boredom at the conversation, indeed in some instances contempt, appears momentarily as the facade struggles to stay in place. She simpers and bats her eyelashes at men, flirts with them, because her narcissism tells her that that's the way to get ahead. As a somatic narcissist, her narcissism directs her to be flirtatious with men and, of course, to utilize her secret weapon, or not-so-secret weapon, of lashing to spicy poontang. Flirtation and poontang won't work with the majority of females, and therefore they are labelled as threat. Along comes somebody who's more articulate than her, threat. Along comes somebody who's more intelligent than her, that is female, threat. Along comes somebody who's female and is more beautiful and pretty and attractive than her, threat. Accordingly, she doesn't like other women. And for all of the crap that she spouts about female empowerment, you don't actually see any real action on her behalf to support that. Yes, she talks about it regularly, but we all know that the narcissist, particularly those of a mid-range variety, are big on the talking and little on the doing. That she'll give us the industrial world salad in a speech banging on about female empowerment, but then not do anything to back it up. We know that she will do video links with her former school, talking to the young ladies there, all about what they ought to do in their lives, when in actual fact, she hasn't done it herself. What she ought to be saying is, well, if you want to get ahead like I've done, find a man. At least that would be honest. There are plenty of other women who have achieved what they've achieved through their talent and endeavour, and not the reliance upon other people, male or female, who would be much better examples than This One's Wife. This One's Wife talks the good game about being involved in the support of females, but regularly lets her side down with regard to her behaviours. And we have another example of this, which not only demonstrates the hypocrisy of what she supposedly stands for, but also demonstrates the rudeness of This One's Wife and how she pretends to care, but her actions demonstrate that she doesn't. Some of you may be familiar with Penny Mordaunt, who appeared at the King's coronation, looking rather fetching in her outfit, carrying a sword. This was her coronation dress. And you just bear with me so you understand the context before we get back to how This One's Wife ignores women again. Penny Mordaunt has decided that she's going to sell her coronation dress. She explains she's doing so because it's become so recognisable that she feels she can never wear it again. The leader of the House of Commons in the United Kingdom intends to sell the caped gown to fund projects in her Portsmouth North constituency. So, the recognisable outfit that she wore at the King's coronation, which drew a lot of praise, means that she's going to sell it, and she's not going to pocket the proceeds. She's going to put it to use in her constituency. The dress and its wearer's ability to hold a 3.6 kilogram sword steady for almost an hour stole the show at the Westminster Abbey ceremony last May. Miss Mordaunt, 50, told the Sunday Times Style magazine, "I can never wear it again unless I'm going to a fancy dress party as myself. It struck me. It's such an iconic dress that it ought to go on and do some other good things." The Conservative MP explained the thinking behind the dress's novel design to the magazine. "My predecessor at the last coronation would have worn the court dress of the Privy Council, which is beautiful, but obviously designed for a man. And I was very conscious that although we were going to have the full coronation robes and all the amazing pageantry, it was also a modern coronation for a modern king. So I wanted to wear something in which I could stand next to my female cabinet colleagues and not look out of place, while also standing next to the large number of clergy and all the military uniforms, the pursuivants of arms, and fit in. The £1,200 dress was made by ready-to-wear label Sophia, a brand favoured by the Princess of Wales. The Jane Taylor hat was off the peg. Both were embellished by Hand and Lock, an embroidery house founded in 1767 that works with the royal family and big fashion brands. I looked at a lot of images for designs that ticked all the boxes and felt that a cape dress would work really well. It's got a sort of historical top to it, but also gives a nod to the military, she said. Having worked with the British Fashion Council on a school outreach pilot to enable more students to follow careers in the creative industries, the leader of the Commons is also aware of the ability the fashion industry has to uplift those who work in it, especially women. During her time as International Development Secretary, Ms. Mordaunt supported Eden, a not-for-profit organisation that teaches jewellery-making skills to women in South Asia rescued from human traffickers. Thus, we have a woman as an MP and leader of the Commons, when she was the International Development Secretary, supporting an organisation that teaches jewellery-making skills to women in Southeast Asia rescued from human traffickers. The type of organisation that this one's wife might have been moved to be involved with. I sent one of the necklaces to this one's wife, Penny Mordaunt explains. It was quite early on, at the time she was having difficulties. I wanted to demonstrate to her the opportunity she had, what she could potentially do. She had a lot of support from parliamentarians. A lot of people wrote to her and wanted to support her. How interesting. Thus, as International Development Secretary, she contacts this one's wife, showing support for her and making an offer to her, sending her one of the necklaces from an organisation that's exactly the type of thing that this one's wife would maintain that she would support. After all, it's helping women who have found themselves in a disadvantaged situation being given a skill so that they can have a degree of sufficiency. Surely ticks all of those boxes that this one's wife would like. Furthermore, this also reveals that there was a lot of support from parliamentarians for this one's wife, which rather puts paid to the suggestion that the sugars bandy around that she was subjected to lots of racism, that she wasn't supported. And moreover, it's also being demonstrated as to the potential that she could have with regard to the things that she could do. So this is fantastic, isn't it, for this one's wife from Penny Mordaunt, that she's being told, here's a necklace from an organisation that you could perhaps be involved in. After all, it's exactly the type of thing that fits with the things that you apparently support. Also understand, there's a lot of us who see there's great potential for you and we support you. Great news for this one's wife. Should imagine that she received this letter with great gladness in her heart and immediately penned a reply explaining how grateful she was that Penny Mordaunt saw the potential in her, that she was blown away by the support from parliamentarians, and absolutely, thank you so much for this beautiful necklace. What a brilliant endeavour. How can I help? Well, in actual fact, when asked whether this one's wife responded to Penny Mordaunt's offer, Miss Mordaunt replied, no, she didn't. There we are. This one's wife, who had at that time an entire staff helping her, an individual that only had to turn up and do the things that she needed to do, that wasn't concerned with actually earning a living like anybody else, that had people assisting her with what she wore, with her makeup, with her hair, that she had people that would make meals for her, that would clean around her. She didn't have to do the laundry. She didn't necessarily have to do all of the mundane things that everybody else does. And she gets a letter from a prominent politician saying, I'm involved with this charity. Here's an example of the work of this charity. It's for disadvantaged women. I understand that that's something that you're interested in supporting. How's about it that you get involved? And what does this one's wife do? She didn't even reply. Once again, a simple act of courtesy, even if it might have been to say thanks but no thanks, is not undertaken by this one's wife. Moreover, the very opportunity to be involved in an organisation that she claims is all about something she would be involved in, vis-a-vis female empowerment, she doesn't get involved. To suggest that she would be too busy is nonsense. The actual fact is, it didn't appeal to her, because truthfully, this one's wife doesn't care about other women. As I've explained before, she sees them as threats. She sees them as the competition. And she'll talk a great game about female empowerment, but do nothing actually to seriously support it. Once again, she ignores the women. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.